4 into test tube. Just for the test tube, but I don't know which one. Close, serve, yeah.
Is my volume working? Can you hear me?
Yeah, is mine? Yeah, I guess mine's working. I'm gonna mute myself though, because I'm still out in the living room with my kids. I just wanted to make sure I was in the meeting, and it didn't get started without me paying attention to it.
That's fine.
To stand with Americans and for the planet.
Hello.
Hi, I can hear you.
Okay.
I got voice too.
Huh? Yeah,
said-
I'm just cranking up my volume.
Okay.
How are you doing? What's this fantastic? Oh, good.
I'm ready for bed. I think we should have these meetings around noon when
I
I'm
think so too.
fresh and
Totally agree. I was thinking about that tonight, thinking, oh, normally I'd be doing X, Y, and Z, but we've got a Zoom meeting. Too bad it's not even at 5, you know?
Yeah, that, I would like that, but
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I get dental work next Monday and then I'm off to Arizona in a couple days after that. So,
oh, well, at least the weather there will be warm.
yeah, it will be. And I'm glad to get my dental work done because if I hadn't, it wouldn't have lasted till the spring, he told me. So,
Oh,
it's okay.
it is. Do you want to join? You sure? You can wheel your chair over there. I know. I'm used to wearing this stupid thing now.
Yeah, I kind of got into the fashion
Here
of
real
the
quick.
mask too. I do recognize that woman.
Jim Bass said hi. And then his pager went off, so he's gonna go take that fire call.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, you look like an alien, Jessica.
Well, it makes it a lot easier to drown out the background noise of
Oh,
my
yeah, those are noise canceling headphones?
of my two beautiful children.
Oh, wonderful. I can hear them from here.
My kids?
Yeah.
I can hear him where I'm at too, Mary.
You guys are so funny. The chaos that I live in.
Someday you will miss it. That's what they tell me. I'm still waiting for that day.
Okay, I'll just believe you guys.
Hello, I'm officially on.
All right.
Kids are in bed.
How do you do that? Kids are in bed.
Yeah. 7 to 8 o'clock is bedtime, depending on how they act. If they act like Laura's dog down there, they go to bed at 7.
Yeah, you see it? He's already chilling. So is that one. Ray Junior, can you say hi?
It's up
Hi,
there. Yeah,
Junior.
it's just
Oh,
Looks like Daryl's joining us. We're still waiting for Darla.
yeah. I sometimes have trouble with mute on this thing, so I'll be patient if you ask me a question. Okay.
Okay. Steve Glazier said that he was going to be joining us too.
somebody from Annette Glenn's office is supposed to too, or maybe Annette, I'm not sure.
She's
But they-
right. She's on.
Is there?
It's Annette. I'm here. Hi, everybody.
Hi. Hello.
Good
Hello,
to see
Annette.
you.
Hello.
Wow.
Howdy.
Daryl, you don't look like you.
Yes, he does. I see the back of his head.
Yeah, now he looks like Daryl, but from the front, he didn't. I know Darla was having computer issues earlier, but that was around 11. We'll give her a few more minutes and then I'll give her a call and make sure that. Here she is. And there's Steve.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. Hello, Darla. All right, Darla, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, and I can hear you.
We'll wait and see.
All right. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order at 7:01. And I just ask that if you are not speaking, that you please mute your icon. You can find that in the upper right-hand corner if you click on your name or your face, whichever is showing, so that whomever is speaking doesn't have to try to get through background noise. And for guests, it looks like we have DLPJ Lamy. Murray Hickerson is joining us, CRS, Dragonfly, Annette Glenn, Commissioner Glazier, Rick Payne, and Mary Sproul, and Daryl. Daryl, you're not really a guest. You're the fire chief. All right, we'll go ahead and start with the guests that would like to speak. Steve, do you want to go ahead?
Okay, I think I'm off mute. Good evening, everyone. I'm just going to touch on some of the highlights from our executive session that was held last Tuesday. Also meeting virtually. So this report is as of December 8th, 2020. The jail update, as of Monday, December 7th, we're currently responsible for 101 inmates, 60 from the county and 41 are from the federal marshals. Pinecrest, the current census is 47. They remain closed to new admissions. And we currently have 27 referrals on the waiting list. Construction has begun for the multi-generational space. Work has begun removing exterior brick fascia, and there will be constructing a temporary wall inside the facility, the dining area along the west and north sides. So that area, that work is progressing. We do have a new activity director, Riley Muggenberg, was hired Wednesday in early December. So that's good news to have. The director of nursing position has been filled, and I believe that we continue to search for a new director. COVID-19. Indoor visits had to be stopped because of Midland's upgrade in the contagion list, if you will. However, outdoor and window visits are continuing to be offered for guests and their visitors. Not the optimum, but it's certainly better than not having any visits at all. Mary Cornell in equalization reports that the apportionment and millage reporting has been finalized and reported to the state. A summary breakdown of all millage rates is posted on the equalization homepage of the county website for public viewing and use. Jennifer Boyer in emergency management has had quite a lot of activity going on here recently. I guess a couple of the key things. Emergency management has requested floodplain management services from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. So this would be a flood study that will help identify mitigation strategies to reduce damage, flooding impacts in the future that could be adopted by local communities. And also has requested that the USGS, Geological Survey organization, would help to produce a scope of work to conduct a study that would result in the production of a flood map or flood mapping tools for the community. And again, to help out with flood mapping, damages, and potential forecasts. The problem that we have is with the destruction of the dam, we really have no forecasting data to guide us in our responses when we have large rains in the surrounding areas. So that's going to be an ongoing challenge that we're going to have to deal with. She also reports under COVID-19 to continue to work with community partners on sharing of information and personal protection equipment needs. All PPE has been moved to a long-term secure storage location and inventoried, and we continue to provide PPE to community partners on an as-needed basis. So please keep that in mind, from the township perspective as well. I'm not sure to what extent fire departments and emergency workers have been tied in, but please don't hesitate to give Jennifer a call if you need help. Human resources, we're searching for an environmental health director. That'll be a full-time position. Sheriff's Department reports that for the jail, we need a corrections deputy full-time at the jail. And Road Patrol needs a full-time deputy. So if you know anyone in law enforcement or want to be in that area or looking for a job, please refer them. And Parks and Recreation reported that we were awarded a 1/3 funding of the complete funding necessary, which amounted to $3,000 for us to install a protective, that orange fencing material all along Sanford Lake to keep people from going out into the lake bed or where they're not supposed to be. So that was through a grant from the insurance agency that the county uses. The trial court administrator reports that the court is currently unable to conduct trials until we move back to phase 3. And then hopefully after this wave, we'll be able to utilize the different auditoriums. I know the middle school was used for a trial, and I'm not sure about any others. I do recall the middle school. And then finally, Ross Ollick in the Veterans Affairs Department reported that Midland County Veterans Department was able to provide $90,659.91 in grant flood relief monies to help our veteran community begin their recovery. So that's quite an accomplishment, and I'm sure it was much appreciated. Anybody have any questions about what I've presented or anything else that you would like me to inquire about?
I know they're looking into some safety measures and so forth for the floodwaters that are expected in the spring, because we really don't know what to expect. Are they anticipating a large flood?
Sorry?
So they're looking into making it what's going to happen in the spring, and they're putting in for the dams. They're making them safer for the floodwaters come spring.
That is certainly part of the plan that the Four Lakes Task Force has. As soon as we get, and I just saw that there was an a message in my email box. I don't know what's in it. But I had seen a report that we're very, very close to getting possession of the dams. I don't know if we have yet acquired them, but I do know that repairs to the current 2 dams that are undamaged, to do repairs to them, and then for Edenville to bolster the one area, I think that still needs some improvements on the, what is it, the Tobacco River side,
Yeah.
to help out, so that side does not fail and cause problems.
And is that because they're anticipating it to be a big flood come the spring without having the dams, or do they feel that it's just going to be?
From what I've heard, Kristy, there is concern that because we don't have the benefit of the storage capacity of the flooded impoundments, our ability to then regulate the outflows of the dams as we would normally do, and we have a century of data on, virtually a
Right.
century. Now it's going to be run of the river, and so we're going to be working to certainly accumulate the data and forecasting as best we can. But I know that that's an issue that Four Lakes is strongly considering, and it is in the planning for the restoration of Edenville and Sanford Lake dams.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other
Yep,
questions,
questions.
Steve?
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. Annette, did you want to speak?
Just for a minute. First, I want to thank you guys for all your support. You're stuck with me for another 2 years. So I can't wait to be back in person with you, but at least today I get to see you virtually. Vaccine has already started to arrive in Midland, and so there's 2 vaccines that have been approved, the Pfizer vaccine and the Moderna vaccine. So between now and the end of January, we're expecting Michigan to have about 284,000 doses to receive. And of course, Midland is in on that number. So that's the biggest report. Steve did a great job covering what's going on with the dam. And there was additional emergency work starting up on the tobacco side. You were nodding. That started on December 8th. And Fisher Contracting is the one who got the contract for that. They have been a huge blessing to us with debris removal, getting US 10 back up as soon as they did, and any number of other things. So we're blessed that they happen to be headquartered right here nearby us, so that we can continue to utilize them, and they're great partners. So basically, legislature's got this week and next to finish up. We'll be doing things like extending the emergency so that you guys can continue to meet virtually based on numbers. I expect through March 31st. Here to find out what you guys think needs to happen and what we can do to help you. Oh, you're muted.
I thought I clicked it. Does anybody else have any questions for Annette? All right. We'll go ahead and move into the consent agenda. I'm going to
say goodbye and hop off and attend another meeting. You guys know where to find me if you need me, but good to see you.
Thanks, Annette.
Thanks.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to amend the consent agenda and accept it with the additions of the clerk's additions. And I would like to remove solid waste, Rick Payne's expenses, and the country hardware invoice number 3306.
Okay, I'm not. Repeat those so I make sure I have them right. You want none of solid waste paid?
Correct. I would like to pull that out. We're not approving payment right now of solid waste. We're going to pull it out.
You realize what that's gonna do to us? Bills are due, we're gonna be behind.
We will get to that. Let's move on with the motion.
Okay, so you are making a motion to remove all of solid waste. What was next?
Rick Payne's expenses.
All,
We will just take it out of there and go over it separately.
and the third was,
The country hardware invoice number 3306.
in the amount of,
Um,
12 or 26.
26. I believe. I didn't have one for 12.
Oh, there is, it's not in the general, it's in fire. Because you didn't say. So these are all in general except for the solid waste then.
Okay.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Kristy made a motion to approve the consent agenda with the clerk's additions, but removing all of solid waste, removing out of general Rick Payne's expense report, and the country hardware in the amount of $26.
I'll support it.
All right. Roll call then.
Yes, please.
Kristy,
Yes.
Lawrence,
Yes.
Darla,
Yes.
Jessica,
Yes.
and Beans, I'm not up to date on your reasonings for all this. I'm saying no. I don't approve it. So I want reasons as to why I'm not supporting your motion. I'm in approval of paying the bills. So however you want to take that, if I'm saying no to your motion, then, or is everybody wants all of this stuff done. They want all of these removed and you're in favor of paying all of the other bills but that. It still remains a yes?
There's a motion on the floor and everybody voted and took roll call. By that, the motion passed. We're now going to move on. Let's tackle Rick Payne's expenses first, please. Rick had turned in his expenses and included some mileage as well as some ink. He stated that he spoke with George and George told him that he could essentially do that. That is the way that it was done. It was brought to my attention with that statement from Laura. I did contact Rick and speak with him, and I also contacted George. George did state that was not what he told Rick. I did explain to Rick with mileage, it is from the haul or the shortest distance. In conversation with him, he decided that he would just forego the mileage along with the ink. We did talk about that he had a key to the hall and he could do printing here. And so it is completely up to the board. We can take a motion if we will pay him for what he has turned in, but based on our policy that is in the book, that is not how it is. And I do not have anything in writing from George that says he had okayed it. And verbally, he told me no. So discussion?
Do you have a copy of that policy? I voted yes on all this because I want to see where you had to go on all of it. I'm always open for discussion. But I don't have our policies right in front of me on that stuff. Do you have that policy by chance verbatim, just so I'm aware of it for the future? And then Laura, real quick, where's Rick Payne's expenses in the packet? I'm getting lost looking for that.
There's 3 bills and I generally put them towards the back, and there's either paper clipped or stapled, and it starts out in the left-hand corner, 12/10/2020. And it says up at the top, bank code GEN. See if you can find a packet that's either paper clipped or stapled together that says that, and I'll take you from there. The first one on the page is Midland Daily News, public hearing. Are you seeing those 3? Look at my screen. I don't, can you see it? See what you're looking for? I don't think it picks up on it. There's 3 pages to it.
Waste that one.
Did you see it yet?
No, but I'm just gonna keep thumbing through it while you guys talk.
Okay, so his is on the second page once you get to it. The mileage came to 85.68, and the office supplies, the ink came to 44.98.
So was he driving from his house to the hall? Is this where the mileage came from, or what was he doing on behalf of the township for the mileage?
Let me get to his exact receipt and I'll tell you what it says. Okay, he's got one, January 30th, a site plan inspection for 14. February 25th, a site plan inspection for 12. March 1st, maybe, a site plan for 12. September 29th, a site plan review for 16 miles. And then documents to the assessor, another delivery of documents, a delivery of documents to the hall, another site plan inspection. He came to pick up the mailing list, another site plan, and then the last one was town hall meeting for 12. And then the ink, as I said.
This is what I'm thinking, and again, this is just what's in my head. I would be good to go to table the mileage and let him refigure out what the shortest distance was, either the hall or his home. Because if he is doing business driving on behalf of the township, I feel he needs to get paid for the mileage. As far as the ink goes, I do believe that if he has a key and access to the printers at the hall, that I'm okay with him not getting paid for that and forgoing it for the ink. But if he's driving around on behalf of township, I'd be good tabling it for the month so he can refigure the number, since he knows how to, what the policy says now for those, so he can at least get paid for the proper mileage.
So Christy, give me your motion again as far as, or whatever you said, as removing his mileage and ink. You said
I'm
you wanted to
asking how the board would like to handle this.
Okay, so no motion's been made.
No.
I would like to make a motion then to say to table it for the month so he can rework his worksheet for the mileage. Because he already has the address he obviously had to go drop or visit. And so he can go and either go from his house or the hall, whatever is the closest, and get paid for that mileage and then remove the ink from the expenditure.
Okay, so Lawrence made a motion to table Rick Payne's mileage for the month and remove the ink.
I'd like to amend that motion and make sure that he does get the $20 internet charge for.
You were cutting out, start over.
I would like to amend that motion so that he is sure to get at least his $20 internet charge for November.
I'll second that. I
He
didn't
would
think about
He would be getting that if Lawrence is making a motion to remove the ink and table the mileage, the internet expense would be an automatic.
Any other discussion on it?
I guess I have a question. Does he have access to, I know he has access to the hall, but does he have access to a computer to be able to hook up to our printer to print?
Rick, can you unmute, please, and join the conversation?
I do not. I use my iPad when I research items that we need, the planning needs. I use my iPad, I send it to my printer, and I print that information. Now, where there's been cases where there's been a lot of printing to do for the other board members, what I have done in the past is print what I need off the internet, take it over to the hall at no charge, and have Laura make the multiple copies. The copies that I am making are singular, or maybe as many as 5 or 6 that I print off the internet. This is information that I'm getting from the state or from MTA that is necessary. Now, let me further on the mileage. If I were to drive to the township hall to print something, forget it. It's not even worth it. If I were to drive to the township hall and take mileage from there to do these inspections on the various site plans I have, it's not even worth it. I'll stay home. You know, we're talking a minimal amount of dollars. And if that's going to break the township, you guys don't need Rick Payne. It's very simple. You know, Kristy, just this weekend, I printed for you some information that you requested that I researched, and I dropped it off at the hall today at no charge to the township. And I used my printer and my ink and my mileage. So there's a lot of things that Rick Payne does that you don't get charged for. Now, as far as George saying that he never authorized that, that's a damn lie. And I'll tell you why, because George said that in an open meeting of the township board. I don't know how many people were there that heard that, but I had made some trips to the code authority on behalf of the planning, and George says, well, the question came up about mileage, and I said, no, I'm getting $20 a month as being chairman. I'll live with that. Well, the mileage in the last year has increased because there's been a lot of things. So I decided, hey, for this year, because there's, and it's not a lot, what were we talking about, $60 or something like that? Come on. That's, that's my statement. If you can't pay it, don't pay it. And I have a key in my pocket and I'll be there tomorrow and I will leave without the key. It's just not worth the aggravation. You guys are spending what, 20 minutes worrying about $100 when big dollars are running out the door? I don't need it. Thank you.
Okay. So what I have is Lawrence's motion to table the mileage, remove the ink price, and pay the internet expense. Are you seconding it, Kristy?
Can I say one more thing? What does the other two people on the board think? Like, when you heard me and Kristy, what are you three thinking? Because if it did happen in an open meeting, anybody that was sitting on the board previously remember this? Because with everything I've been hearing over the last couple weeks, it's a real possibility that somebody could be lying over this.
So you want to go first, Darla, or do you want me to?
Go first, Laura.
I agree with the mileage because Rick has put on mileage, and I do believe that other people in the planning commission were told, don't forget to take your mileage. But it is supposed to be from the town hall and to where you're going. But if it's shorter miles from your house to where you're going, then take that. Don't take the extra mileage. And the ink, I know he's gotten a handful of times, and I know he has a key now, so ink should not be an issue. And to settle all of it, if Rick doesn't want to print anything, he can always send me an email with what he's needing, and I will put it to be printed. So there's my 2 cents worth.
Carla, you want to go ahead? Carla?
I don't quite know what to say, but this household has never charged mileage within the township. I don't even charge to go to code authority. I always make sure I do something personal on that time. That's my 2 cents worth.
What's your feelings, Jessica?
The way I feel is the mileage, I'm unsure on. However, if he doesn't have access to a computer at the hall to be able to print, my feelings is that if he's using his personal computer and personal printer to print off information for the township, then he should be reimbursed at some point for that. If he had access to the township hall to be able to print off from his device, I think that might be a different issue. But since he doesn't have access to be able to print from the hall from a device, other than just now being able to email it to Laura, he's then using his own ink to therefore print off stuff for the township.
Because I'll be honest, I didn't even think about him not having a computer or device for the ink.
Can
So
I
I'm
add
actually
something first, Lawrence, before you
go
finish
for
it?
it.
If he's got his laptop and that's where he's done his research, his laptop would pick up on the township printer.
He's talking about an iPad.
Well, I believe it still would, even with your smartphone. If it can be, if he can hook it up to his printer at home, he should be able to hook it up, pick up on the printer at the hall.
Well, he should be able to if he's able to connect to the internet, but if he doesn't have the Wi-Fi password, it won't connect.
Well, I believe he does, and I would give it to him if he doesn't.
Right, but that's moving forward, we're able to do that.
Right.
You guys are coming
after,
a lot of extra effort, a lot of time. If I print something and I need to research it, I need to do it now. I don't need to be running over to the township hall to see what was printed so that I can come back and study it like I did this weekend for our township supervisor and had it printed and gave it to her today at no charge to anybody. If this is going to be this big a hassle, like I said, tomorrow I have a meeting at the hall. My key will be there when I leave. So you guys go on to something more important and let's get over this.
I think I'd like to amend it just because I don't want to see nobody else losing on the planning commission at this point. And again, you guys can shoot this down or not, but I'd say as is, moving forward, have him adopt mileage according to the policy, or we need to change the policy, one or the other. But moving forward, have him do everything correctly by the book. And if he feels strongly enough afterwards, he needs to do what he needs to do. But I'd say just moving forward, give it to him this time. He knows the policies now, and hopefully he can follow them moving forward. Because I don't know what somebody told him beforehand, and it's just easier to get rid of it and move forward with a clean slate, new board, and move forward with the policies that are in the books.
Okay, so are you amending your motion then?
I am. I'm going to amend it because I don't know what the previous board told him, and if the previous board told him
I don't
something,
need an explanation. I just need to know what your motion says.
yes, I'm going to amend it and just say pay it out this time and move forward with the correct policies that are on the books.
For 150.66 for the total.
Correct.
I'll second it.
Oh, all right. Roll call then, Lawrence,
Yes.
Darla,
No,
Kristy,
Yes.
Jessica,
Yes.
and I will say yes. Motion carried.
All right, let's go to the country hardware invoice for the $26. So this
What
one
do you
says,
want? What are you wanting to know about it?
this one says park, correct?
Correct.
So this would be the extra antifreeze that Kale purchased to redo the splash pad or the bathrooms.
I don't know if it was purchased before or after. I don't, what's the date on it?
12/3.
12/3.
Yep.
So I believe you're correct because Rick is on mute. Can you unmute for a minute, Rick?
I can answer the question.
Oh, I didn't know you were there. I'm sorry, Cal.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's not, there's no original antifreeze, there's nothing. That is the antifreeze it took to winterize all of the traps.
That's what I was thinking that it was. So if it's the antifreeze that he got to winterize the park period,
It's
I would
already-
say that it needs to be paid.
Yeah, I'm not paying it. It went down the traps at the park.
So this was purchased on December 3rd, but you had winterized the park prior to that. And when I spoke with you on December 1st, you had stated that you were going to be there that night because somebody had been in the bathroom and made a mess, and you had forgotten to do the water fountain. So you were going to be winterizing that night, and I asked you to leave the keys in the drop box when you were done. How did you winterize that night and buy the antifreeze 2 days later?
I put the antifreeze in the traps in December. I don't know what the problem is. I guess I don't understand your question. The traps they got water in them. If you don't put antifreeze in them, they freeze and break. The park was winterized, all the lines were drained. The traps do not get drained. Okay? So then you put RV antifreeze in the traps to stop it from freezing. And I did it on the 12th. And that's when I found, went by there actually the night before when I seen there was a door open. And then I went in there and somebody had unlocked the door and went in there and used the bathroom. I did not charge you guys to clean up all the crap that was in there. Feces.
All right, I think.
I took care of it.
Kale, I think that we just need to pay it and move on, so I'm making a motion that it gets paid. So I made a motion to pay Country Hardware. Is anybody going to second it? So nobody's going to do anything. We're just going to sit here. I can't hear you. I can't hear anybody.
I will second it.
All right, Lawrence,
No.
Darla,
No,
Jessica.
No,
So who's going to pay it then? Why are we doing this?
There's a motion still on the floor. Can you please continue with roll call?
Sure. Kristy.
No.
Okay, and I'm saying yes.
So the motion fails. We will discuss that later, how that bill will get taken care of. I would like to move solid waste down into the new business. So we'll go to code enforcement report. I do not have anything from Tim Smith. So Daryl, if you want to go ahead and take the fire report.
If I can figure out how to get it off mute. There we go. I just sent out a couple minutes ago the fire report totals. I sent it to Kristy and to Laura because I've got your emails. The two new ones I need to get in, and I forgot I've got Darla's. So if Kristy or Laura, if you can forward that to the rest of them, they can have it in writing there and they'll have it in front of them. We had 68 runs last month and 43 of them in Lee, 20 in Greendale, 5 mutual aid. Okay, perfect. Got it up there for us. Wonderful. There were 4 fire, 11 medical, 5 traffic, 20 in Greendale, the mutual aid for 3 fire, 2 traffic, 5 total. So we had 16 fire calls, 33 medicals, 19 traffics for 68 total calls. And so that is the number of calls. And I have I sent out an email requesting to be able to reimburse our members for the medical first responder portion of their testing. It used to be free. The state went with National Registry a few years ago And so the cost went to, they're now currently $75 for the initial test. I would like to be able to reimburse them for the initial test. Any retest would be up to them. And I'd like to be able to reimburse. I don't know when it went to 75. So anybody that's had it in the last, since it's gone to the National Registry, I'd like to retroactive that since it went from free to whatever, and whatever their actual costs were. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, Kristy, I think I saw your mouth go yes, but but I couldn't hear you, so. If anybody's willing to make that as a motion or whatever you need to do for approval for that.
So it's you and do you know the other two right now? Because you said it was 3 that would need paid.
But there's 2 that I know of. It's not me. I've been licensed for so many years that it's we're not even going there.
Oh, because in your email, it says several members, yourself included, hold them, and I was thinking
Oh,
that you
yeah,
meant
we
they
hold
went.
others. Yeah, we've held licenses for years, and you know, I mean, but no, it's not. I must have
I
made a
just
confusion.
misunderstood it. So
Yeah, sorry about that.
there's nobody at this point that we would need to pay for.
There are 2 for sure, and I don't know how many went because when I'm sure when Jim Bass got his original, it was a free thing. Probably Ron Darla, those were free back then. But I don't know when it went. I can't specifically remember the date it went to National Registry from the state of Michigan, doing it themselves. So, you know, if there's 2 people currently that just paid $75 to take their medical first responder exams. And to be fair, if, you know, since we're going to do it for them, I'd like to, if, you know, it's kind of retroactive. I mean, they just did it, but if you want to do it effective 2020, whatever you want to do, I'm fine with whatever the board's prerogative is on that.
It's just for reimbursement for taking the test, the $75 reimbursement, right?
I'm sorry, Kristy, I couldn't hear the first part.
It's just for the reimbursement of the $75 for taking it.
That is correct.
It's not like we're paying it for 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th time.
Absolutely correct. We are not going to continuously pay. It's one time, we will pay for it. If there's any cost for retest, it's on your own. That encourages people to do well the first time.
I'll make that motion. A motion to approve reimbursement for MFR and EMRs.
Yeah, EMR, first responder, the terminology is changing currently.
Okay. To reimburse the cost for licensing and testing in the amount of $75 for the first test, no subsequential.
I'll second the one-time reimbursement.
So are you putting an effective date on it so I can go back and pay?
Did they take theirs, Carol?
I'm sorry, was that a question for me?
Yeah, when did they take theirs?
I'm sorry, you cut out on.
When did they take theirs?
They took theirs recently here, just probably within a couple of months. So we could go from 2020 or we could go back, well, whatever you would like, your pleasure. Well, I'm sure we had 2 last year that took it, but I don't know what their costs were. If you want to go back, I would suggest that you would amend it to, you know, to to the current cost perhaps of whatever the cost, I'm trying to think of how to say that. Basically either up to the current cost. Yeah.
How about just this year?
If you do it just this year, that's fine. I'm just trying to get something on the books and we can continue to go forward from there. So
So how about beginning in 2020?
you can do it, yeah, for 2020, 2021 fiscal year, however you want to do it.
We can go for the 2021 fiscal year. But we're in the 1920 fiscal year right now.
Okay.
So are you staying with that then? You're not gonna pay the ones that 1920 or 2021?
Let's do 2021. That goes from January 1st is 20, unless we're talking fiscal year.
It will start, no,
April 1st and end the March
Right.
31st. So
Yeah.
anybody before April, I guess you'll have to figure it out.
Beg for that later. Okay, I can do that. So effective, yeah, that's what I meant was the 2020 to 2021 fiscal year. I just shortened off the 20s in the front of them. Sorry, but forgot about the confusion of that.
Okay.
Okay, so Kristy, you made a motion to pay for the $75 reimbursement for the first test only for the MFR/EMR test effective or beginning in the 2021 fiscal year, and Lawrence seconded that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Kristy?
Yes.
Kristy? I will say yes. Lawrence,
Yes.
Jessica,
Yes.
Darla.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried.
Then I also noted in that email that we were denied the grant for reimbursement for tuition for our student in the fire academy. I found out that no one else in Midland County all got a grant for that either. And in checking, one of the other chiefs checked and they ran out of money before they got to our requests. So it's nothing, it wasn't that I didn't do something correct. They just ran out of money at this point. So, but we appreciate what they did in the past and we'll certainly apply again when they offer it.
Is this tuition paid for by the township then?
Yeah, we will have to pay that out of our departmental budget. We
Okay.
have in the past before this.
You only have one in the fire academy currently?
Currently, that is correct.
Do you know when their tuition bill will be due?
I don't remember. It seems like they come out sometime around the first of the year.
Okay.
I just don't remember when the Midland County Training Academy gets them. They get them to me typically by email, and I'll get it to you just as soon as I get it.
Okay. Anything else for us?
Not that I'm aware of right this minute. Thank you.
All
Anything
right.
from you guys, ladies, gentlemen?
I think we're good.
Thank you very much.
All right, the Park and Hall report. On December 7th, I went over to the park with our insurance agent. Some things that we need to think about are we are going to need some trees trimmed. There's one that's branches doing something to the shingles on the garage roof. There is one with a limb hanging over the pavilion. Trees should generally be 10 feet away from any structure. We're going to need to look at our budget and get those taken care of as soon as possible. The city of Midland was there today to look over some things, and the where are you? The building that houses the heater closest to the pavilions. That building, all the electricity had been shut off to all the buildings. That heat is supposed to be left on. We did turn that back on and get the heat going in there. But on the outside of the building, somebody has cut our ground wire. So we do need to contact an electrician as soon as possible. I don't know if there's one that we have specifically used in the past for the park. But we need to look into getting that fixed as soon as possible. Something that we don't have to discuss tonight, we can if you want to. In speaking with the insurance company, we do not have to leave those gates locked. I don't want to make a decision on it tonight. Just we should probably have a workshop to discuss ideas on how we want to see the park in the future, as far as hours go, as far as access to it, as far as maintenance and lawn care and splash pad. I am in the works of talking to both county and city to see if either one is willing to do a partnership and help us maintain our splash pad, where they would do all the testing, chemical testing, so forth, just like they do at the one, well, did at the one in Jerome, and then the ones downtown at Longview and the Tridge. So that is something that we do need to schedule a workshop for soon, especially with budgeting coming up, to decide what exactly we're looking for. But the trees and the electrical need to be addressed soon because our insurance agent did see them. So we won't be covered if something happens. Or we might not be covered. I don't know. Maybe he'll be nice or forgetful. So Darla, do you want to take on getting estimates for the trees?
Yes, I will.
Okay. Lawrence, do you want to work on getting an estimate for the doghouse building for the ground wire to be replaced?
Yeah, I can work on that.
Okay, I can send you the pictures that I have. That way you have them and kind of can visualize what I'm telling you.
And that'll work too. I can forward it to people and they might be able to get us quicker on an estimate.
Yeah. All right. Anybody have any correspondence?
I do. I got the yearly thank you for paying Greendale Township for West Midland Family Center. And they're asking that we do our 2021 the same as we always have. We got the letter from them, and that gives our residents the ability to be able to use the senior services and everything there. So it says in here, their records reflect that about 200 seniors from Lee Township, Homer Township, and Greendale Township have taken advantage of their food distributions, and 40 to 50 of them are regulars where they come every time. So it's helping them to help the community. So I'm asking that we continue to support them and give the $5,000 that we have been giving for years.
Is that a motion?
Yep.
I'll second that.
Okay. All right. Lawrence,
Yes.
Darla,
Yes.
Jessica, she's left evidently. She must be dealing with something. Kristy,
Yes. I still see her face there. Is she froze?
I don't see her face. Oh, now where is she? I don't see her at all on mine. I hear dogs, but they're not my
My
dogs.
place, I'm sorry.
No, but does anybody see her?
Yeah, let's wait a second.
No, I don't either.
She said she lost her internet.
Oh, well,
I'm gonna text her back and let her know that she might
tell
be
her
able
to
to do
call,
it off
tell
the
her to
phone.
call you and put her on speaker, so maybe she
I'm
can at least
using-
do it that way.
I'm using my phone for Zoom. I don't have
You want
a
me to
camera on
call
my
her
computer.
then?
There's a number
do.
to call into the meeting. She can call in from her home phone.
Well, that's what I was gonna tell her, so.
Welcome back.
I apologize. I'm not sure what happened. It glitched and everything shut down.
I was just gonna text you and say to call us with your home phone. So I don't know how much of it you heard, but for West Midland Family Center, we've always given a $5,000 donation to help offset. We've got a lot of seniors that depend on it. There's over 200 seniors from Lee, Homer, and Greendale that give food distributions, and out of those 40 to 50 are regular. So I made a motion to approve paying the $5,000, and Kristy seconded it. And then Lawrence said yes, Darla said yes, and I called you and you were gone.
I say yes.
Okay, and Kristy said yes, and I'll say yes, so I will get that check cut to them as soon as I can. So that's all I have as far as correspondence.
All right, does anybody else have any correspondence? All right, let's move on to unfinished business. The policies and procedure manual. We scheduled a workshop for December 19th at 10 a.m. via Zoom since we cannot meet together. I will get that scheduled and a link sent out to everyone, and we can post it at the hall if any public wants to join. Any comment on that?
What's the date again, Kristy?
December 19th,
All right.
What time?
What?
10 a.m. All right, planning ordinances. I really hate to follow in the footsteps of my predecessor, but we need to be able to meet in person to go over these with the planning committee. The planning committee currently doesn't have a quorum to be able to meet. So those will be tabled until we do have a planning commission that has a quorum, and we can work together to go over those. The cemetery columbarium. Laura, can we get an update on that?
Yes, it's there. It's been there, and I don't know if Cal has left and if Cal and Rick have left, but evidently Cal said that he's got part of the ground prep done, all that he can do now until the platform gets put in, and I'm assuming with this weather, it's now not gonna be until this spring.
I'm still here if you want information.
Yes, so I told them that you had gotten the ground ready, and it's going to start to take place this spring once the weather breaks, correct?
Well, what, all that's been done is was some stumps, and we plucked the stumps out. But if you guys remember, it got put on hold for a while. George postponed it. And then when you guys did decide to move forward with it, well, then the dams break and we got a ton of work. Then COVID, you couldn't do this, couldn't do that. So everything kept getting put off. My schedule filled up. When I had me and the contractor there, the guy that was gonna push my dirt for me was there, we got put on hold. Township didn't know if your budget was gonna allow it. So you pushed me back. So you're right, come first spring, when the temperature's above 40, we'll push it and pour it.
And Linwood, I don't think Linwood, Inchwood, but
Here on Granite,
okay, Inch was the other one that we didn't go with.
right,
Are they willing to keep it for that long?
yes.
Okay, good.
I can build a cribbing to hold it. That's not a problem. I can put a cribbing out there if it's got to be moved and delivered. And then I can lift it.
I'll double check with him tomorrow, but last I knew he was okay with it, but I'll call him and ask him. And then I'll let you know, Cal.
If it's gonna cost the township money, I can put some cribbing out there to set it on. So it's
Okay,
secure. And then come
Okay.
spring, when I get the cement poured, then I will have it moved and put on top of there.
okay,
At
I'll
no
call him
expense to the
tomorrow.
township.
I'll call him tomorrow. And I'll let you know.
All right, we are gonna move the old skid steer down into the solid waste stuff. So moving forward into new business, the 2021 meeting dates. Did everybody have a chance to look those over?
It was in everybody's packets.
Does anybody have any problems with any of those dates? I really can't think we can look at conferences and so forth right now because we don't really know what's gonna happen.
Looks
right.
good to me.
All right, the other thing we need to think about with those meeting dates is, do we want to keep the time for the township meetings at 7 PM?
Say that again, you cut out.
Do we want to keep the time for the meetings at 7 PM? Do we want to move it ahead to 6 or 6:30, or do we want to keep them at 7?
I like the 7 o'clock time personally. It gives me a chance to get everything done for the night and then kind of settle into this. And I think it's a good time to let the community be able to get home from work, settle, and then come down to the hall if we can ever meet at the hall again and be there and be present.
Any other comments?
I agree with
I
Lawrence.
agree.
All right, then I will make a motion to accept the meeting dates for the 2021 year as presented to the board in the board packet. Keeping the meetings at 7 PM.
I'll second that.
Are we doing roll call on it?
Yes, please.
Darla,
Yes.
Jessica,
Yes.
Kristy?
Yes.
All I will say yes, and Lawrence.
Yes.
All right, I'll post it.
All right. Board of Review appointments. Do you want me to do each person individually or combine all three of them into one motion, Laura?
Is it, is it time to reappoint them?
Correct. Well, we'll start with, I need to make an appointment for an alternate for the remainder of this year, which goes to December 31st of
Okay,
2020.
do that one first.
Okay, I'm gonna make I will make a motion to appoint George Whittington as a alternate for the remainder of the 2020 calendar year for Board of Review.
Okay, so
I'll
you're
second
making a
that.
motion, just a minute, making a motion to appoint George Whittington to finish out the 2021 Board of Review
Yes, and he's an
as
alternate.
alternate, okay?
Yep.
Okay, so you made a motion to appoint George Whittington as an alternate to finish out the remainder of 2021.
No, not
So
going.
that goes,
No,
What's
that's not right.
Just
okay, that's what I'm saying. So to finish
December
out through
31st.
2020,
Yeah,
to finish out through the end of this year.
correct.
Okay, okay, I got it. So somebody was gonna second it.
Yeah, I was gonna second it.
Okay, so. I lost where I was. All right, Jessica,
Yes.
Kristy,
Yes. Yes.
I'll say yes. And Lawrence,
Yes.
Darla,
Yes.
okay, so he's the alternate through the end of this year, so. Next,
All right, I'll make a motion to appoint Richard Payne to a 2-year term for the Board of Review, starting January 1st, 2021.
I guess I'll second that again.
okay. I'll say yes. Lawrence,
Yes.
Darla,
Just a minute. Was the name Richard Payne?
yes.
Okay. Yes.
Kristy,
Yes.
and Jessica.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried.
All right, I will make a motion to appoint Frederick Schroeder to a 2-year term on the Board of Review, beginning January 1st, 2021.
Quick question.
I'll
Are these all?
second that.
What?
They're
Are these all the same
already
people?
serving.
They're already serving.
Okay. I just haven't met him yet, so
He was.
I'll
at the
second
election.
that.
All right, go ahead and take roll.
All right, Jessica,
Yes.
Kristy,
Yes.
Darla,
Yes.
Lawrence,
Yes.
and I will say yes.
Motion carried. All right, I will make a motion to appoint George Whittington to a 2-year term on the Board of Review beginning January 1st, 2021.
I'll second that.
All right, Kristy,
Yes.
Darla,
Yes.
Jessica,
Yes.
Lawrence,
Yes.
and I will say yes.
Great, motion carried. Moving on to Planning Commission appointments. At this point, for the Planning Commission, the ZBA, and the Code Enforcement Officer position, I cannot ethically make a decision as I do not have enough candidates to choose from. I've been told by several people that they were going to be putting in their information and I have not received it. I would like to hold off on that. Even if I did appoint what I received, we still would not have a quorum. I would like to be able to get the word out there. Either we put it in the newspaper and hope somebody still reads it, or we come up with another way. I also cannot appoint a code enforcement officer at this point. Not because I don't have anybody in mind, but because we don't have any job descriptions or policies and procedures or any of these positions within the township that are within date. The current code enforcement order is an ordinance, and what information we have to hand to somebody is from 1998. I really feel that we need to put those into workshops and decide what we want for this township. We need to look at what hasn't worked, what we want to see, and aim to reach that. Thoughts?
I agree.
Yeah, I agree that everything as far as the code enforcement officer goes. How many people did you get to apply to the planning commission? Because we shouldn't have things sitting in planning commission, especially with how outdated some of our ordinances are. We should try to get moving on that stuff as soon as possible. So how many did you get to apply?
So let me first start by saying those ordinances don't go to the planning commission. That's on the board. The planning deals with the zoning ordinances. We do the police ordinances and the policies. As far as planning commission, I have one. Even if I had 5, Lawrence, I'm not going to appoint people just to appoint people to have a committee that isn't functionable.
Fair enough.
When I got to code authority 4 years ago, this is the same thing that happened that you're talking about, Kristy. We have worked for the first 4 years, getting job descriptions down for each person for our office worker, for our inspectors. And now we're working on a general handbook, and that has been updated 3 or 4 times. So we need one. And I'm sure that's going on here.
If we move forward a bit to the website, Sandy and I did get together and look into that. It is complicated to me, to say the least. I really feel at this point, while we are looking into quotes on that for something to be professionally set up and usable, I think that we need to get out there on social media. I think that we need to have some presence in our community. And I think that we need to have a business Facebook page for our township. On a business Facebook page, you can post PDFs, you can post anything that we would normally, pretty much, on a website. I did speak with Mary Hickerson. She's on tonight. She is willing to help us set that up. She is the owner of Avoda Studios. She designs websites and does some graphic designing and media marketing. She is offered to voluntarily set up a Facebook page for us. Get it professional looking, up and running if we so choose and approve. And we can also post meeting notices and get our township involved, and she can help us in that manner. Thoughts on that? Do we want to hear what she has to say?
I also have stuff from Sandy because you and she got together and she gave me stuff. She thought that we were moving forward with what we had said last month, that Lawrence wanted you and she to work together. You guys got together one time and that was it. So we're dropping all of this and moving in a different direction, or?
We need something now. We cannot get a website functionable enough to get up and running in the next 2 weeks to get information out to our residents. You have to look at the fact, Laura, that they don't have a website that is updated anymore right now. They don't have a newsletter on the back of their tax letters. They don't have the same board members, and they have no way to contact us, to reach out to us, or find information. I don't feel leaving them in the dark with no options to reach out is the best for our community. I didn't say we weren't going to move forward with a website. We need to look at our options. I have spoke with Sandy in text. She does not know she had to access the DNR or the D something. I got an email saying that that request now has expired. I don't know how to operate websites. I cannot go in and design a website. I can say what I would like to see on it. I could add stuff to it if somebody showed me. I cannot design a website. So Sandy and I can work together, but you're not building off of that website that we had. It would be a new website with the same domain name. So what is your envision of Sandy and I working together on this?
I'm not going to answer because no matter what I say, it's going to be misconstrued. So you move on with what your thoughts are. I understand what's going on here. So move forward. I'm done.
Any other thoughts or comments?
I would like to see you and Sandy work on something. If the website is too old and you and Sandy need to start over and scratch, I'd like to know what Sandy's thoughts are about taking the subject as far as a part of her current like projects to help the township out with you. And if you guys are willing still to work together to produce something new on the current domain name that we have, that'd be awesome. I do understand that we should move forward in the meantime with social media platforms. I would like to see after the meeting if you could forward some links to the whole board with what what's her Marie
Yes.
what she's done as far as her work goes. Because anybody that's willing to volunteer to help out the township, we should at least hear what they have to say and what they have to offer. But I would like to see you and Sandy still work on a new website if the code on our current website is too hard to work with.
Can I say something about the Facebook page?
Absolutely.
That would just be in place. I mean, it should be there anyhow, but in place to communicate and get followers, get the community to come together while, if Sandy was working on the website while that's being put together, there's a platform to still communicate, because a website, you can't build a website. It takes several months, to get the website correct to where it should be. So that way you can still communicate with the community. And it's good to have anyhow, even if you had an up-to-date website already there, it's really important to reach out to people with social media. So if I had volunteered to at least set it up, just so it's set up correctly, so people can start communicating that way.
Any other questions for Marie?
I think we need to take Marie up on this because we're now at the beginning of a new term here. And we have a lot of positions that are open and people don't know that they're available unless we get the word out and what we need. And we need talent here, willingness to do it. I noticed this the last time when I got elected, and there was not a way to tell people what's there, what needs to be done.
Are you making a motion, Darla, to allow her to set up the Facebook page?
Yes, I will make a motion that we take Marie up on her offer to get something in place. I guess I'm going to say immediately. I realize that means whatever she's capable of doing as quickly as she can to put these, I'm going to say jobs, but I don't mean jobs, opportunities for our citizens to help us get this township back on its feet again as quickly as possible.
I'll second that.
So you're approving, Darla, you made a motion to approve Marie Hickerson to set up a Facebook page, correct?
Yes.
Can I make an amendment to that one board member should have access to that and approval before posting?
Yes, I think we all as a board can look at it before it goes live and just make the approval that we approve of everything. And then for access to it, go on with your your one board member that will have access to post and
Yeah, that was all I was gonna say, is just make an amendment to make sure that one board member has access to it, to be able to view it and access it.
In my opinion, I think there should be several board members, so that way everybody can post, so the burden's not on one person. That's just my opinion. Then you can stay.
I agree. I agree, Maria.
I think there should be at least 2 to 3 people. And I believe that we also need to make a outline of what's acceptable to post and what is not acceptable to post on our Facebook page as well. Moving in the future, we don't have to do it tonight, but I think a quick outline of what's acceptable as far as posting and non-postings would be.
So could we amend that Darla's motion to just state any interested board members, at least one, can have access to the Facebook page.
I have Darla made a motion to approve Marie Hickerson to set up a Facebook page for the township and to have all board members review before it's approved and goes live, and 2 board members to be able to maintain and post. Is that good?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is.
Darla, you're okay with that?
Well, I didn't exactly say all board members. And I didn't say.
No,
before
before it goes live, it needs to be, we all need to see it.
Yes, we do.
That's what I'm saying. All board members need to review and approve it before it goes out there for everybody to see.
Okay.
And two board members to be able to maintain and post on it.
Point of order. If you do that, that calls for conclusion. That's a violation of the Open Meetings Act. You can have any 2 people, but if you have a quorum, you're in violation. Thank you.
You wouldn't have a quorum.
If you ask for a conclusion, then that's,
What conclusion are we asking for, Rick? I'm not understanding.
you would be asking for approval to post something,
With 2 board members?
not with 2, but with 3, you would.
That's why I have 2 down, not 3, 2.
Okay, but the discussion also mentioned all the board members.
The discussion for all the board members is to just look at it before it goes live, to proofread it, in other words. That's all. The board members are going to proofread it before it goes out there.
That calls for a conclusion, which is a violation of the Open Meetings Act.
So I guess when it's done, we'll call a special meeting into order to go over the Facebook page before it goes live. So we won't be in violation.
Either that or don't waste the
posting.
township money and have 2 board members approve it.
That's right.
That would be the simplest, safest thing to
That's
do.
right. That's exactly what you do.
Thank
So
you.
that's a waste of money to have all of us, to call a special meeting and have all of us look at it.
Yep.
That's exactly right.
And I was going to
So-
say, let's bring it before a board meeting and approve it before it goes live.
It can, yes, that's how it could be done. It could be on one of our regular meetings for everybody to look at it before it goes live. That's the best way to do it, Darla. So you want me to amend it to say that?
Yes, and remember, we're having 2 workshops, so it could, if we can get it done.
We
by
can't
one
make
time.
decisions at workshops, or they're not considered workshops.
Okay,
They're
well, I didn't know
considered a
that
special
rule.
meeting. Yeah. So do I need to change it, Darla? I'm asking you, if we leave it where it says all board members, we would have to do it at a meeting or a special meeting, and I don't think it's fair to call a special meeting just for that.
I don't either, Laura.
So do you want to amend it then to 2 board members? Kristy, your input, I don't know.
Yeah,
What's your input, Kristy?
Let's do it. I can guarantee you there's going to be a meeting before the next meeting. So let's go with at the next meeting, whether it be special, public, or regular, that we have viewed it and make a motion to move on it.
So then I'm just gonna say to have all board members approve it at one of the next upcoming meetings.
Correct.
And 2 board members to be able to post and maintain it.
Correct. And that can be decided at that meeting.
Okay, and it was seconded by Lawrence, so we're gonna do a roll call then. Kristy,
Yes.
Darla,
yes.
Jessica,
Yes.
I will say yes, and Lawrence,
Yes.
okay. Thanks, Maria.
For the code enforcement position, can we potentially schedule a workshop to discuss what we want to see in the township as far as code enforcement? And what we want that to look like? Ideas, strategies to achieve what our goals are in the township. I'm looking at January 9th at 10 a.m.
Is that a Saturday?
Yes.
I don't know at this point without going and looking at my calendar if I have anything on it, but
Right, well, that
I'm
one is
available.
out there tentatively, and we can discuss at the next get together, whether it be a workshop or meeting, because January 9th is about a month away. So just set it on your calendar if possible. BSNA access. Is there a way that Jessica and I both could get read-only access to like the general fund so that I don't have to request things from you to make you feel like you're my personal secretary?
quit being sassy. That totally really upsets me.
When I
And
ask
I'm
you for
looking at you face to
information,
face. I'm not gonna have an argument with you here and now, but don't disrespect me like that anymore. Understood?
What is she talking about?
point of order, can Jessica and I get access to BSNA to be able to view the general ledger and the input without having to ask you for information?
I'll certainly check into it tomorrow.
Thank you.
She's an asshole.
Who just said,
Nurse.
who just said that?
Laura, we're gonna move on. Jessica, do you want to go ahead and make the motion for the bank signers?
Yes, so in order to get access to all of the accounts, I would like to make a motion for the bank signers, to be myself, my deputy Jen Miser, it'd be Laura, and then also her deputy.
Can you state her name in the motion?
My brain just froze.
Sandra Barber, Sandra Braybaugh.
Sandra Braybaugh, I apologize, and Laura, to all be signers on the account.
I can second that, Jessica.
Thank you.
You can go ahead and take roll.
Lawrence,
Yes.
Jessica,
Yes.
Darla,
Yes.
Kristy,
Yes.
and I will say yes.
All right, motion passed. Laura, if you could type up the minutes tomorrow and get them to Jessica tomorrow so that she can get this taken care of.
If I can do what?
If you can get the draft of the minutes tomorrow.
I'll try, Kristy. I have payroll to do and I have a 1 o'clock that I have to be at and I have to cut all the checks. So if I can, I certainly will.
Okay, credit card policy. We need to make sure that we've got the usernames updated on that. So I know Mr. Stewart was on there. We need to make sure to get him off and get Jessica's name and get that updated and in the policy book. The policy and ordinance book, we need to start looking at updating a majority of those. The other thing that we need to think about is our record retention and storage. Jessica and I had to look for some documents in the fireproof room, and a bunch of the boxes have mice nests in them, and some of our records are being eaten. We need to make sure that room is stored at a proper temperature. The state does put out a nice record retention manual that states what temperature certain things need to be kept at and the humidity in the room. I would like to make a motion that we do need to contact a pest control and get them in here to rid us of our mice problem so that we don't have any more of our records eaten.
I'll second that.
So you're making a motion to approve having a pest control come in. Who's going to find it? Who's going out for the quotes?
I will. I'll look into that. With that being said, you guys looking for something a one time, or do you guys look for something that you want monthly, bi-monthly, quarterly?
Who currently does our bees and sprays outside twice a year?
Michigan Pest Control. You want to just have me call them and see what it would cost? It can't be just the fireproof room because I've seen
Correct. It will be-
evidence in the kitchen.
Yep, it's gonna need to be the whole building.
So do you want me to just do that then, Lawrence? If
Sure, go
not,
for it.
Okay.
I'm just here to help in any way that I can.
Laura, if you're
Yes.
gonna do this, I was gonna volunteer. Jim Bates also does pest control, which is very close to the hall.
Well, if we have one already, Jim's not in the system. It takes an awful lot to add someone, new people in as vendors. So it's totally up to you guys. I don't care at this point. I'll call them if you want me to. If not, go for it.
I say we go current for now.
We have a motion on the floor to find someone for pest control made by Kristy. Lawrence seconded it. So am I to call Mid-Michigan, or does Darla or Lawrence want to take it over?
Call your current. They're already doing our
So
best.
are we having them do it, or do we want a price first?
I really think this is about a state statute that says we have to maintain these records and make sure that they are free of pests. That's my personal opinion in reading the law. So I don't think we
just
should
do
waste
it.
more time. Yeah, let's get it taken care of before their babies grow up and get hungry.
All right, so I'm gonna do roll call then. I'll say yes to calling Mid-Michigan Pest Control for the entire building. Jessica,
Yes.
Lawrence,
Yes.
Kristy,
Yes.
Darla,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, planning commission report. Does Rick, do you want to give that?
Yes, right now there's a lot of activity from different realtors that would like to do business in Lee Township. I've spoken to 4 of them in the past 6 weeks. I've looked at some properties, talked about some properties with them, talked about different zoning and what we would like to see and what they can do for us. There's several that are, well, there's 3 I know of that are pending sales. And we've discussed that with them. We have the rezoning issue on M30 to take care of that's been jacked around all summer. We have the zoning ordinances that Kristy, you addressed earlier. Those have already passed planning, so they are to you. Other than that, I guess I'd like to continue with the meetings for planning would be on the 2nd Thursday of the month. With the state keep changing the rules, I guess it would probably be easier to set those at the second Thursday, and if there's changes, we just post it that they've been canceled or whatever like that. But right now with the master plan, that's supposed to be done this year, but I don't know. Those are things that you can't do with Zoom. You have to have public meetings. You can't have a public meeting where you may have 20 people there and we're only limited to 6 or none right now. So there's a whole lot of things that are in the works. So like I say, it's the whole state thing and meeting things are so uncertain. I guess I just don't know where else to go with it. So Kristy, you and I can probably resolve that before the end of the year. It doesn't take a special meeting or anything to do that, but we need to see how we can work within the system to get things done. You know, the one with McLaughlin, he's been, like I said, he's been jerked around for over a year. He needs to be accommodated in any way we can. So I guess that's all I have right now.
All right, we'll be in touch, Rick. Thank you. Code Authority report.
The report.
Okay, we met by a Zoom meeting. There was a letter submitted from Hope Township, and I think I put that in your paperwork, asking for one inspector to be released. We decided to form a committee to discuss issues within that group. It will be the leadership with Carmen and the secretary, the treasurer, and the vice chair. And I'm kind of wondering if we're going to have someone else to take Amy's place, but that I will find out Thursday. We also had our friends from Lee Township again discussing what places to be looked at. Do you want me to give you those addresses? These are what we're working on. 210 South 11 Mile, 290 North 8 Mile, 110 North 8 Mile, and 50 North 8 Mile. These are zoning issues that needs to be handled by our.
They're all over there.
Okay, need to be handled by our code enforcer. So also we renewed Brigham and Flowers insurance. Amy was given a bonus, a Christmas bonus of $600. And we will start doing the budget in January. Do you have any questions for me?
Oh, somebody just lost.
Did we lose somebody? Sorry.
You lost everybody.
Great.
We're here. Did we lose?
Okay, Kristy, Laura, are you still there?
Yes.
Is Jessica still there?
I'm still here.
All right.
I'm still here as well.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Who did we lose?
We're all
No.
here.
All right.
No.
Good.
All right. So before we go to public comment, we're gonna touch base with solid waste. So as the board is aware, we have some major issues at the waste transfer station. We are looking at OSHA violations, DEQ violations.
No
we
shit.
At LARA violations. It was brought to my attention. I did not go looking for it.
But
Now that they are, I'm
35
sorry,
cents.
but whoever is speaking, could they please mute themselves? Now that these things have been brought to my attention, they have to be addressed. In addressing them, I have fallen down a rabbit hole. I have found and heard things that I really wanted to just turn a blind eye and not pay attention to. But I cannot. One of the things that we need to find, and maybe Darla, you could help out with this, in the General Appropriation Act, under the caretaker, over the years since, I believe, 1998 is what we came up with, Jessica. There is a statement that says to see the caretaker benefit package. Additional clarification under the compactor caretaker benefits. Some things that I have been told are included in that are not in the document that Jessica and I spent 6 hours looking for. Therefore, we need to either continue looking or we need to start accepting or collecting receipts and money from Mr. Eastman from that dump. I have nothing that says that he can collect $2 per tire. I have a document that says that he can collect the money and he needs to hand it over to the treasurer with receipts. I have a document that says that he does have salvage rights in these caretaker benefits, but that also includes that all that salvage needs to be removed from the property daily. That is currently not happening. We currently are in need of 2 brand new or refurbished compactors to replace what we have there. We also need a new building to bring it up to code. I walked the property with my our insurance agent, and I was very disheartened to see that a brand new skid steer that we gave Mr. Eastman to use was being stored outside in the elements while the old one that doesn't run was in a building. Not taking care of things gets us to where we are today. The last time any money was put into that dump by this township or the township board was 15 years ago when they bought a refurbished compactor, which is now broke to the point where we cannot get parts for it and it has to be replaced. There's never been PMs done to ensure that the proper fluid is being used, to ensure that the safety of the machine. Nobody has looked into OSHA requirements to keep a transfer station open. Nobody has looked at the fact that we told Cal to fix the steps in the platforms, and he did, and I love those new steps. We forgot to tell him and put in there that they need a railing. We've had an injury at the dump. Doug didn't get a name. He didn't report it to anybody until I was there with the insurance agent and came up to us and told us. But he doesn't know who it is. We have no safety protocols and procedures in place anywhere. We have write-ups from citations from the DEQ over the past couple of years. Jessica and I looked at the records from the 90s, from the 2000s. And right now we are repeating history. We are looking at the dump being disorderly. We are looking at stuff being stored in areas it is not supposed to be stored in. We are looking at costs to get a new compactor, to get new equipment. Which brings me to the next. I want to show you all this. So, can you all see my screen?
Not yet.
No.
Get you back here. This is the revenue and expenditure report. If you look up here at the very top line, this $336,888. The special assessment solid waste, $166,950. Restricted donations. Look down here at our operating and where we're at. This states we have $20,000, $20,903 left for the fourth quarter. Remember this number up here? The $166,950 for the special assessment. The special assessment in 2016 was set at $105 for 1,570 parcels. At that amount, that number in our general ledger should have been entered as 164,850. It then dropped again in 2017 to 100. It dropped again in 2018 to 95. It dropped again in 2019 to 85, and again in 2020 to stay at 85. Over the years, we've lost a revenue that we have documented as being in our budget to receive of $96,850. We cashed out 2 solid waste bonds to be able to cover the remainder of fourth quarter and the skid steer, thinking that we had enough funds. And I'm sorry, I lost you guys to get back to my woo, woo, woo. There we go. To get back to our, I gotta look at all of you. To be able to make it through. Currently, with that number being off, 2 of the CDs being traded in, that leaves us with 1 CD in the amount of $67,898.04. It is not mature yet. It will be pulled out, have to be pulled out a month early. Based on the submitted approval for the solid waste for this month, we are looking at $18,365.10 going out tomorrow, and that includes the clerk's edition of $82.24. Our bank account right now, as it stands today in the fire account, is $14,836.62.
Fire account or solid waste?
In solid waste. If all of these bills are submitted, we are negative $3,528.48. We cannot put $300,000 into the dump to bring everything new. Because you know what that means? We would need new caretakers. We would need new equipment. We would need new everything there. And we don't have the policies and procedures into place or the OSHA requirements. Did anybody realize? I didn't. Honestly, I'm not blaming everybody. I didn't know, didn't think about it. Before we handed over that skid steer, we should have gotten documentation that he was given a tour on how to drive it and safety procedures, and that it comes with a seatbelt. He should drive it every time. He should have gotten a maintenance log stating what the manufacturer's requirements are to keep it maintained. And when we went there on Saturday, Jessica and I, he was using it as storage for salvage. We, right now, with the assessment being put into the budget wrong for all these years, not being updated, that slush fund that we were burning through, we have burnt through it. We are going to be negative and behind for the next 2 years. We do not have an operating margin right now to be able to finish out this year and afford next year, even if we just left the dump as is. In order to rectify this issue that we have right now, today, to pay our bills tomorrow, Jessica is going to need to make a motion to move money, to cash out that CD early. But going forward, we will need to call a special meeting and we will need to look at these numbers and decide what we're going to do. Because we cannot operate like this at all. Jessica, do you want to make your motion or do we want to take discussion first?
I got a couple of questions, slash concerns, slash, whole 9 yards. The dump is one of the reasons why I actually chose to run for office, because that was a concerning thing since I moved into the township. I completely agree of it being misran, miscared for. I think we need to, after this meeting, we need to make a list, and maybe even adding it to the nearest workshop next Saturday of all the little things that we can start doing first, just to start in the right direction as far as, buying a padlock for the gate.
I don't think you're understanding, Lawrence. We are at a point right now where we need to have a special meeting and decide if it is closing or how we are going to get money to keep it open.
Okay.
I do not see feasible how we would keep it open, but let me tell you, I don't see how it's feasible to be able to afford curbside at this point.
I guess that's, make your motion, and I guess the special meeting, we'll all have to do a lot of homework and try to figure that out.
Is there any more discussion before I make the motion? No? Am I talking?
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'm muted. Nobody's saying anything. So I need to make a motion to transfer funds from general into the solid waste account to cover the upcoming bills so that we're not late on them. We will be closing out the CD as soon as possible and returning those funds that we borrowed from general back into that account. We have the $67,898.04 CD at Wildfire that will be closed out. And those funds at minimum, we need $3,528. I would say at minimum right now to transfer just to cover everything, $4,000 even. And then when we close out the CD, we will transfer those funds back into general, and the remaining CD will be gone, and it'll be used for the operation costs. Sorry, Laura, that was really long-winded.
I shortened it, but that's okay. I have a question, I guess, before we move on. The $200 restricted donation, is that the first CD that the CPA will have to put where it's supposed to be put, or was that what we had put in there when we did our budget last year?
None of those numbers have been changed as far as I'm aware. The add to / use negative in parentheses unrestricted fund balance is where the CDs essentially should be. Our CDs don't equal that amount at all, and they haven't in the past 4 years. The special assessment from all the revenue and expenditures reports that I can find I don't see that that's been changed since before 2016. And I cannot see in bank records or any other documentation of what the restricted donation of $200,000 is or where that is accounted for.
I will check with the CPA because I think that's something to do with a transfer of some sort that had come from general to fire, but that's where it got put. So I believe if that were in the general fund for solid waste, would we not be where we need to be?
Where did it come from though?
I'm thinking that is something that Bill had me write a check from general to solid waste, but it got put in the donation, and I think the CPA was supposed to correct it last time. If that money is truly not restricted donation, or do you remember when we set aside money for both the fire barn and the solid waste, or was it fire barn and something else?
With the fire barn, and we put money into CDs for solid waste. We put it in the CDs for solid waste as our slush fund and to use in case of the event that we had something break down and needed to fix something, or the DEQ came in and shut us down and we would need that money for ground improvements.
So if that were not in restricted donation and it were in general, we would be okay, correct?
I can't answer that. Our dump costs that we pay at the landfill are double of what Jerome pays.
Yeah, I know they've been increasing, and I've been trying to say this for years, but nobody's listened.
Okay, well, there's a motion on the floor, so
I guess I'll second it.
Is this open for discussion? Kristy?
go ahead, Darla.
How are we going to pay this back to the general fund?
She's
know that's an
going to
unknown.
borrow it out of general and then she's going to cash in the CD
Okay,
and she's going to replace the 4,000. Is that what we said?
I said 4,000, yeah.
The 4,000 back into general out of that CD. And then the rest of the solid waste CD will go into solid waste for fourth quarter.
Operating
payments.
cost.
okay. So that's not, we're just borrowing it, but it's not, there's not a way to pay this back yet.
Once the CD is cashed in, it will be paid back.
All right, okay, I understand. Okay,
But this is the last of the solid waste funds.
I know. I know.
All right, Jessica.
Yes.
Somebody's doing something that's Lawrence.
Yeah, my bad. I started typing on my keyboard.
I'm like, Kristy,
Yes.
Darla,
Yes,
Lawrence,
Yes.
thank you. Motion carried.
Is there any other discussion in regards to the dump at this moment that I can address?
Yeah, the old skid steer.
Yes, thank you, Lawrence. So the old skid steer, I believe that I would like to contact Bill Rogers and see if he can go over there and see if it'll start. Because we've kind of gotten a mixed answer from Doug when Jessica and I asked him about it. It's also a fire hazard right now with all the gas and oil that is around the engine and it being stored in the barn. It does need to come out of the barn, so the brand new one can go in the barn, but Doug, he was pretty unsure if he could get it out. So we're gonna make sure as a board that it gets out so that the new one can get in.
I'm an equipment operator. As part of my job, I've ran Bobcats and machines like it for the last 5 years.
Well, you know what, Lawrence? The dump hours are Wednesday. No, go ahead. Go
I
over
just need a
there.
tow strap. I just need a tow strap and be able to put that other machine in neutral and it can come out.
Why don't you see if it starts first, and then I'll come behind you with a tow strap.
Anywho, is the plan still to get rid of the old one?
Yes, I would wait. I would like to wait to liquidate that until we figure out what we're doing with the dump. Because as it stands right now, if that closes, all the other items there will need to be liquidated. And I think that it's just going to be easier to liquidate everything at once than try to go through a bid process with this, and then possibly if the dump closes, we then need to go through a bid process in another month with further items.
Because I did come up with a solution on just kind of speed up that bid process for us. But if you guys think you guys want to wait, that's cool too. Because I looked around and I found that there's a couple online bid companies locally. And one said that even, because I was just asking hypothetical questions, I said if I had something to add, they would actually add it to a pre-existing auction coming up online, so we could get a bunch of eyes on it, and it basically just go to an auction house and we can put a reserve on it. But waiting on it sounds like the better ideal in case we do have to liquidate everything.
Any other thoughts?
My thought is to let our residents buy it back. Put a for sale sign up, but I didn't know it had to be liquidated till right now.
Well, with my suggestion, Darla, it would go on to an online local bid site to where any resident or basically anybody in the state of Michigan could put a bid on it. And that way you could get, 1,000 eyes on it instead of 100 eyes. And a running one that's in similar hours online and for sale is currently $14,000 for that model that you've put down, Darla. And there's parts on that machine right now on eBay going for $600+. So there is value in that machine if it does not run. And if it does run, does operate, and just needs a little bit of maintenance, you're looking at a whole bunch of value.
I'm aware of that, Lawrence, but what you don't understand here, Lawrence, it's been the township's dollars that bought the machine. Let them purchase it back and use it in the township.
I say we get the most out of it, but that's just my opinion.
And that's why I'm saying right now, I think that I know I'm following my predecessor's footsteps. We need to table this until we can figure out what is what. And we should know that in probably the next, I would say 2 to 3 weeks, but Christmas is in there. So I am hoping by the first week of January to have a special meeting, if not prior to. Anything else in regards to that? Any other thoughts? In regards to the budget and how it stands, I think that we need to call in and have an audit done immediately. Just to ensure that where we're at with these numbers, because there's other assessments in here that are not correct. So we know where we're actually operating at. I think we need to do that as soon as possible so that we can find our bottom number and know where we stand so that we know what we can move forward to do, not only in solid waste, but in fire and general as well. I don't want to get into the first part of the year, last part of fourth quarter, supposed to be going into new budget and have incorrect numbers. We're still going to be off in solid waste because of the errors that have accumulated over the years. The taxes that have come in now or are coming in now are supposed to, if need be, carry us through the end of fourth quarter, but essentially are supposed to take care of the upcoming budget year. So March 31st through April 1st of 2022. There's no way at the rate that that dump costs us, and with not having anything in CDs or on hand, there's absolutely no way that we are gonna be able to suffice on that income the next year. I'm highly doubtful we'll be able to for the last quarter of this year, fiscal year.
Kristy, I actually reached out to the county because I wanted to make a motion to get an audit done just because of transfer of hands. With me being the new treasurer and the old treasurer, the previous treasurer leaving. And they highly recommended Yo and Yo. I guess that's who a few different townships use when they do an audits.
Okay.
And so I would just like to add that in.
Okay, do you want to be the one to go ahead and make that motion?
Yeah. Yeah, I will make the motion to have Yo and Yo do an audit on our accounts and general ledgers.
I will second it.
Why would we have somebody else?
Well, for the past 4 years, we've used the same auditor, and it's not very good to keep the same auditor, especially when they're not finding these inconsistencies within here. You stated she was supposed to change that 200,000 or move something, and she clearly hasn't. So we need to get a different set of eyes on there.
And it's also Yo and Yo's a lot of the local townships use that too in Midland County.
All right, Jessica made a motion to have Yo and Yo do an audit. Kristy seconded it. Again, they're not in the system, so when you do it, I'll have to have things from them and they'll have to have things from us.
That's doable. Go ahead and take roll.
Lawrence,
Yes.
Darla,
Yes.
Jessica,
Yes.
Kristy,
Yes.
and I will say no. So motion passed.
All right, any other, or I guess any public comment?
Yeah, I got something to say. This is Cal.
Sure.
I'm glad to finally hear that you guys are taking the part or the dump site and gonna do something with it, because at one of the meetings, Darla recommended handrails and that got shot down. So that's the reason there's no handrails. But that same interest that you have against the dump ought to be taken against the cemetery and the park, because there is no maintenance program in anything to do with the township. I went around the township on my own time and did a survey of all of the buildings. And I went to the township and told them the condition the buildings were in. And you know how much got done? Nothing. The buildings, I told you about the trees. I told you about the door jambs missing. I told you about the rim joists at the dump. All that stuff was all looked at. Trees leaning out by the ball field that are just dead laying there into another tree, and nothing got done. So I'm glad to finally see that some interest might be put back into our township to get things done. And on this $26, I'm going to say this. I'm going to go down to I do a lot of business in that hardware. And I'm gonna go down there and I'm gonna pay that $26 because I see the township's in dire straits. Because I don't think it's fair to the hardware that they go without their $26 because I acted in good stead with the township and bought antifreeze to put in your traps and you guys not pay the bill. That's just, to me, that's poor. There was nothing malicious or nothing done wrong. So I'll pay that $26 so the township don't have to. That's all I got to say.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Hey, Kristy, it's Daryl.
Hey, Daryl.
One thing I forgot to mention is we've done a poll on vaccinations for COVID, and we'll be forwarding that information to the health department to as they prioritize vaccinations. So we are being considered, and we appreciate that. And then one other thing, I'm not sure, but I think if I remember correctly, you did not take care of the solid waste bills yet.
Yeah, we are transferring the money into the solid, but yeah, I think we should probably make an extra motion
to approve the bill.
I'll put that in there. Yes. Thank you, Daryl. I owe you.
Thank you.
Oh, this
You
is
want me-
Mary Strahl. All I have to say is wow. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, thank you. I've said that quite a bit in the past couple weeks.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah. Did you want to do that, Jessica, or were you going to do that, or do you want me to do it? You were? Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna do it to make the motion to pay the solid waste and bills that are due out of there once the transfer has been completed from general into the solid waste account.
I'll second it.
All right. Jessica made a motion to pay the solid waste after the transfer from general to solid waste, and I'm supposing you'll let me know when that's done, Jessica?
Yeah, it'll be done tomorrow and I'll be down at the hall.
All right.
We'll discuss it later.
Seconded by Lawrence. I will say yes. Jessica,
Yes.
Lawrence,
Yes.
Kristy,
Yes.
Darla,
Yes.
motion carried.
Any other business that can properly be brought before the board? Can I get a motion? Let me look at Laura, I did not get the Board of Review book that was supposed to be ordered for, so I knew what I was doing tomorrow. The MTA stuff, that book did not.
I'll have to look at it because I thought I ordered it, so maybe they just missed it because it
Okay.
came to the right price. Unless I didn't do it, then it's going to be extra, but they'll bill me for it and get it out. If that's the case, I'll send it right to your house, so I don't have
It
to.
was supposed to be in the deluxe supervisor.
I thought so
package.
too, but I'll check with it.
Okay.
And I want to clear something up. The reason I said what I said to Kristy was because she has been inundating me with things, asking me for things, and those were things that were handed out in packets prior when Kristy was a trustee. And yes, I did send her an email telling her I wasn't her personal secretary, and that's what I was referring to. But it's time for Kristy and I to sit down together and clear some air, because I'm not going to go through this again and have someone swear and call me names.
I did not
swear and call you names.
It wasn't you that swore. I know who it was that swore and called me names. My personal opinion on all of this stuff, I mean, Mary said, wow. My point to you was, Kristy, there's a lot, and I've been asking for the last 4 years for some of these things to take place, and they haven't. But now that you are trying to do what you're trying to do, we can all only do so much. So we have to prioritize some things, or yes, we're all going to get burnt out if we're trying to do 15 things at once. That's all I was trying to tell you. So I do think it's time for us to sit down so we don't have this snarky attitude going on at a board meeting and have people calling other people names, because that's totally unacceptable. Agreed?
Sure. I really agree that it is unacceptable to call a person a name.
So,
But I also want you to understand that you are the keeper of the records. So regardless if I was on the board as a trustee, I was not on the board as a trustee for a majority of the information that I have needed for the dump. And as a trustee on the board, as a elected official for the township, I think that we need to be informed better in our packets with a revenue and expenditure, ending the date that I'm trying to budget and go off of things and create this off of October's.
I gave you guys the revenue and expenditure. That was just something that I had forgotten. I had a couple people request it and I sent it out today. Everybody got it.
Today, I appreciate that, but that should be done monthly, at least to myself and Jessica, so that we can see where our numbers stand along with you. I think that that's how we've gotten into this mess, is by the clerk and the treasurer not working together and not listening to each other. And we don't want that. We're moving forward. This is
I agree 100%. That's what I've been saying for 4 years.
A lot of energy. And we can do great things. And I'm sorry, I'm a multitasker. I'm dealing with the stuff that I need or want to deal with, and I'm dealing with the stuff that's thrown at me, such as the dump, such as the other issues that are big. I can't just stop because you don't like the fact that over the weekend, because you choose not to be here Thursday evenings through Monday morning, that I've sent you 5-10 emails of different things that I need. Nowhere do I ask you to give that to me immediately. If I need something urgently, I generally call you or text you to follow up to say, hey, I sent that. So you're right. We do need to stop the snarkiness. You need to learn to communicate with us better. And I'm just asking for this caretaker stuff where I don't need an email back in all caps. We're literally looking at something right here where this could be considered an embezzlement. I need to cover the township's butt. I need to cover Doug's butt. And you, as the record keeper, need to help locate that document, not text me back all in caps. But going forward, we can sit down, we can have a nice how we're going to move this forward and set some boundaries and goals to all move forward and work together. Very agreeable. Anything further? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I will second it. Go ahead and take roll call, please.
Kristy,
Yes.
Darla,
Yes.
Jessica,
Yes.
Lawrence,
Yes.
yes. Bye.
Thank you all.
Hey,
Have a
Mary.
good night.
Yeah.
Good night.
Hey, Mary, before you take off,
Yes.
Lawrence. Hey, do you
Hi.
have our neighbor's phone number that lives down by the hall. I remember him being in city government, and he might be a
Yeah.
good person to talk to about trying to get into one of these, sending a letter of
Right.
intent. And
Yeah, Mike Spinell's been talking to him. We'll take it offline. I'll talk to you about that.
okay, give me a call.
Okay, I will.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Night.
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 Good night.
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 Night.